So, hey, I liked the film. It was good.
Okay, good. I haven't seen it, so I'm glad you said that.
Oh yeah, well, you got something to look forward to. Um, do you watch? You know, just incidentally, do you watch like everything you do?
Most of it, yeah. But strangely enough, you don't really get sent the movie. Sometimes sometimes they'll send it digitally, but on this one they didn't. I didn't ask either. I'm not very good at that stuff, um, but I'm gonna pay the money. I'm gonna up the box office. I'm gonna do my part.
Um, is this your first Western?
It is. It is.
Uh, I'm an actor too, and I would just absolutely love to like
Right?
that genre of film.
Me too. I've been waiting decades. It's one of those things. It's like, it's a childhood dream essentially come true.
Yeah. Are you the kind of actor who like you put on the costume in the morning and you just like this is it. I'm in. I know what I'm doing and who I am and
The costume's really important, I think. But I would say particularly so for a Western, because you got the guns and the studs and you got all that extra stuff and the hat. And the costume was really like, it took a while to find that costume. Like I remember going in for my fitting and they stenciled in like 2 hours for the fitting. And I think it took 5 hours.
oh
I
wow.
ransacked the whole the whole costume house and probably tried on about 500 hats. But I really like, I think I have an image of Jericho Ford in my head. And then the costume designer has an image and you try and meet. And she was great. I mean, I thought she did a great job in really giving the characters like a lived in feel and authenticity. But the hat took a while. The hat was, I was going to go with this fedora hat. And, it was the best of the bunch. And the other two hats were really horrible. And the day before shooting, Justin comes up and he's like, listen, the hat, no, it's a fedora. It's not from the time period. Like he's the Western guy. And he was like, you can't. And I was like, okay, but here's the other two. And he was like, yeah, what are we going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. And it was probably like 4 o'clock in the evening. And I just went to Santa Fe and started just going to every hat store I could find. And luckily, Santa Fe is a kind of a Western town.
Mhm.
So there was cowboy hats. And I found a hat the next morning and they kind of tailored it a little bit. And I think about an hour before we went on set, put on the hat. And it was nice because I went into my trailer, got all the gear on, and like you said, like the costume's important, but when it's a Western, you're putting on the waistcoat and the belt, and it's just that bit more. And once I finally got the hat on, I went out and Justin saw me and he was like, there's Jericho. And I felt like that. The hat really made the character.
Yeah. How did the part come to you? I mean, because it was a Western, did it sort of tip over like, oh well, I want to this is great.
Yeah, I mean, no one's ever thought of me for a Western, but I worked with the producer, Damon Hillen. We did a Thai mafia gangster movie about 9 years ago, and we had a great time. And for some reason, he thought of me. And yeah, the script came through, and I just read the name Jericho Ford, and I'm like, I'm in. But I read the script, and I loved it, and I thought, oh man, it's like a straight up, shoot 'em up classic Western. It's not like there's no aliens, there's no like, it's not some sort of play on Westerns. It's just a straight up Western.
Mhm.
Also really liked that it was a female protagonist going in search of the truth in this outlaw town. I thought that was a kind of an interesting conceit. And yeah, I was like, I'm in, and I love working with Damon. So I arrived, and man, we had so much fun filming this shit. We really did. There's a lot of spirit in there.
You guys filmed this in New Mexico. How was that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was weird because we filmed in New Mexico, which is beautiful, and then COVID hit, and after like every single day, it was like, France is closed down. What do you mean France is closed down? What do you mean Italy's closed down? And I could just feel this like dread of like, we're not going to finish this movie, and we didn't. We didn't finish it. We shut down. So it's pretty weird because then 9 months later, we picked it back up, and I'm like 10 pounds heavier, and everybody's traumatized, and we're wearing masks and getting tested. And it was pretty strange, having this new world foisted upon us and then going back into a Western. But I definitely felt like Westerns are going to be things that Americans want to see right now, because who wants to watch a dystopian zombie movie? You know, just look outside and it's there. Like,
Right.
you don't need that. Whereas Westerns are, in a sense, this, to me, it's the mythological American story, where of like the pioneering spirit and freedom. Like it really is the backbone of the American mythology. And so I just personally feel like people are going to want to watch Westerns right now, just to get back to that sense of freedom that is being so taken away, you know, in many respects.
Your character has a really fun entrance. It kind of really sets the tone for him and like who, you know, in his sort of arc. Because it's so important, how much thought goes into setting up those first few moments of your character, or any character really?
I mean, gosh, you know, when you read the script as an actor, you're definitely looking at, okay, how's this character set up? And obviously with Jericho, Justin was looking to create this kind of mysterious and somewhat badass character. So as an actor, you're like, this is great. Like how I get to have an entrance here, you know, with the bar brawl, it sets him up straight away as this, you know, he's this tough guy. And obviously as an actor, you're looking for that, and you're like, this is wonderful. I get to be this guy, you know. I mean, he's written on the page like that, and now I get to go and immediately I get to fight this huge guy, and I get to win. So you know, it was fun. I mean, there's a lightheartedness, I think, within the story, or a spirit in this. There's an element of fun, I think, in all Westerns. I mean, not all of them, but I felt like there was in this. And we just had fun. We had a lot of fun shooting everything. It wasn't a very angst-ridden, tension-filled set. It was a really spirited set where we were having a good time.
Your American accent is flawless. I mean, you've been doing it for years in like various projects that you've done, but like, do you still have to work on it? Do you like work with a voice coach or whatever it is?
It depends on the job, you know. Like if I was doing a Boston accent, I don't know how to do that accent, so I would get help. With the Western, I kind of you know, I winged it. I mean, I've just watched so many Westerns, like we all have. I think it's an amalgamation of, you know, 20 different characters. And it's also to do with the writing. You know, Justin wrote it. He loves Westerns, and I think he wrote the character very well, where you weren't fighting the dialogue. The dialogue was just, it kind of tripped off the tongue pretty easily. I remember doing a Tennessee Williams show where I played a Southern guy, and this was in my 20s when I, you know, hadn't lived in America or anything. But again, it was kind of an easy role to fit into accent-wise, because Tennessee Williams is a genius, and every single character had their own dialect, even though they were all Southern. You could tell like this character came from the town down the road. It was that specific. And so it's a bit like that. When the character is well written, you don't have to fight it. You don't have to find it. It's kind of inherent there. So yeah, I didn't have to think about the accent too much. It wasn't about that so much. But if I had to play Boston, New York, like something that I'm not familiar with, yes, of course I would get help.
Well, hey, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. I really appreciate it, Stuart. And yeah, hope to talk to you again soon.
You too, man. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Take care.